This is Eagle Al, and today I will go over the players that's not getting enough love. That goes from the Kayvon Wallaces of the world, Mario Goodrich of the world, and even Nicholas Murrow. But let's get straight into it. All right, so let's get into it. So I decided last night I'll rewatch the game. I put it like in fast mode, like it skipped the commercials, the replay. So it was like about like 40 minutes of football I watched. And there were some guys that stood out to me. I feel like enough people not talking about, or a lot of people not talking about. Maybe one of these players, like a Kayvon Wallace, some people starting to talk about. But let's get into PFF and how certain players were graded. And there's three guys again on this list I feel like people not talking about enough. So PFF and this guy from Twitter pulled the grades from the Eagles. So Eli Ricks, everybody's talking about Eli Ricks, right? Had a grade of 96. That's really, really good. He damn near had a flawless game. Mario Goodrich was second. Nobody's really talking about Mario Goodrich and how good of a game he had. Yeah, it wasn't a turnover or a pick, but he had a phenomenal game graded at 90. Jalen Carter, we already know Jalen Carter is Jalen Carter. Kayvon Wallace, really, really good. And Nicholas Murrow, as bad as a group the linebackers played, Nicholas Murrow really stood out with the limited snaps I seen him play. I'm like, oh, he's good. But let's get into the first guy, Mario Goodrich. Let's look at the stats first. Mario Goodrich, 3 targets, 1 catch allowed for -1 yards, 2 pass deflections, 3 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. And we already had his grade. So Mario Goodrich, and I have to ask the question, is he the future slot cornerback? If you look at the game, and it's just one preseason game, and Mario Goodrich is actually having a good camp, can you say he's right behind Avante Maddox? That slot corner is a fight, man, between like him and Zach McPherson. Um, I can't. I'm blanking on the other guy's name, and he had Makai Gardner. It's a fight for that slot corner, but don't sleep on Mario Goodrich. Again, we like the new names, like the Makai Gardners of the world. I know Zach McPherson been here for a while, and Zach McPherson did not have a bad game as well. But Mario Goodrich was the one. When I rewatched the game, I'm like, he locking stuff up because I just start keying on players because the All 22 didn't come out yet. So I start keying on certain guys, and I'm like, Mario Goodrich was not allowing anything, anything. And it looked like he got better from last year. His rookie year till now, he got better. And the Eagles continue to find these gems. Makai Gardner is a gem. Uh, Mario Goodrich is a gem. Josh Jobe is a gem. These are all undrafted guys. Eli Ricks is a gem. But when I look at the future, I honestly don't see Zach McPherson. I see more Mario Goodrich. We getting these undrafted guys, and they look good. They look somewhat better than our drafted guys. I mean, Keely Ringo is a rookie, but Josh Jobe looked better than Keely Ringo, who supposedly is our future. Eli Ricks is a rookie, but he looks somewhat better, or like it looked like he can be better than Keely Ringo, far as a outside cornerback, in my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me with that, but it is what it is. These undrafted guys, again, dogs. And they problem was same thing. Attitude, maybe a little injury, and they supposedly trouble. Josh Jobe haven't been trouble since he been with the Philadelphia Eagles. Eli Ricks, I can see why they say that, but corners to be I like my corners to be divas. I like them like getting in wide receiver faces, getting in their heads. I like that. I like that when Eli Ricks caught the pick six and then came back against the same receiver, got a pass deflection, and got up in his face like, yeah, like, nah, you ain't getting nothing over here. I like that in my cornerbacks. Mario Goodrich, aggressive guy. He not like Eli Ricks getting in wide receivers' faces and stuff, but he's really, really good. He's a dog. He got that hunger in him. And it's crazy. I see three undrafted guys, in my opinion, as our future. Unless we use a first round pick on some corner, I don't know. But right now, if you ask me, 3 years down the line, because I'm assuming that's when Slay and Bradbury will retire. I definitely see Josh Jobe, well, not retire, but be off the Philadelphia Eagles because James Bradbury will be older. Maybe he signed with us again. Maybe he take another opportunity with another team. Slay will be out of his contract in 3 years. Maybe that'd be his time to retire. But I see three undrafted guys as our future. It's crazy, but that's what I see. I see Eli Ricks, I see Josh Jobe, and I see Mario Goodrich. That's what I see. All right. So do I believe he's our future slot? Yes. But I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. All right. So let's get into the next guy. Next guy. And I got apology by his name. This is Nicholas Murrow. He was graded, as you've seen, I believe it was an 88. Yep, 88.7. Nicholas Murrow. Do I owe Nicholas Murrow an apology? Do others owe Nicholas Murrow an apology? Because N'Kobe Dean did not play, but Nicholas Murrow looked like the best linebacker out there. He looked better than Christian Ellis, who I believe I think he missed a tackle. When I rewatched, I'm like, Christian Ellis had a dude behind the line of scrimmage. He missed a tackle and the dude ended up getting a yard or two, but Ellis got to make those tackles. I felt like the only guy that was really making tackles was Nicholas Murrow, and he made very good plays. And I was coming in with a mindset like Nicholas Murrow needs to be a superstar, but what I wanted Nicholas Murrow to be, that's what I'm hoping the Kobe Dean can be. Maybe you just need a guy that makes his reads and makes his plays. He's going to make the right tackles. He's going to follow everything the coaches say. Maybe you just need a guy like that. Maybe you don't need a outstanding, phenomenal like a Roquan Smith. What we want Kobe Dean to be. Maybe you don't need like a Patrick Queen type intelligence. You want Kobe Dean to be that. You probably want a guy when the coach call a play, he's going to follow it. And that's what Nicholas Murrow is. And that's why he looks so good because Sean Desai called a good game and Nicholas Murrow was always in the right spots because it's not like he was doing something extraordinary. He was just following what the coaches tell him to do. And unfairly, I criticize him for that. Like, well, he don't really like do anything like super phenomenal. He don't really get sideline to sideline fast. He's just a normal linebacker. Like even in camp, one thing they say he struggled in was in coverage. But he's a linebacker. I mean, what do you expect? Do I expect him to be like a slot corner? Not really. But I think I do owe him an apology. My bad, Nicholas Murrow. You had a very, very good game, and you are a solid linebacker. I think Miles Jack was out there. You honestly look better than him, too. Definitely look better than him, too. So, again, shout out to uh, Nicholas Murrow. Shout out. I owe him an apology, man. Definitely do. I guess lastly, it's somewhat of a stretch because I'm starting to see it. Kayvon Wallace. Kayvon Wallace may be somewhat of a stretch because I'm starting to see people talk about him like, yeah, you got to show Kayvon Wallace some love because I've seen my guy Sidney Brown getting this love. Sidney Brown looked like a sick and missile out there. He looked very quick, very fast. He played 100% the whole time. And maybe that's what the coaches want to scale back. They probably want him to learn how to read the field more and not go in like that because the way he goes in, and this is what I was saying with him coming out of college, the way he goes in is like really fast. So if he misses a tackle or anything like that, the guy can go for big yards because it looked like he's trying to hit stick every time instead of just wrapping the dude up. So that can be, devastating. Like say like if he got a guy like CD Lamb and he missed one of them heat seeking missile tackles, that can easily turn into a touchdown. So it's just certain things Sidney Brown need to clean up. But Sidney Brown looked very, very good. But what Kayvon Wallace showed me is that he's learning the game and he's ready to take it to another level. This was the stats, man. 5 tackles, a forced fumble, and his grade was a 90.4. He definitely, to me, a lot of people are like, nah, it was Terrell Edmonds that looked better. I'm like, nah. PFF agree with me. I mean, that don't really say anything to certain people's eyes. But I'm like, Kayvon Wallace was definitely the best safety out there. Justin Evans looked okay. Terrell Edmonds was a solid second behind Kayvon Wallace, but if you ask me, after watching that preseason game, Kayvon Wallace is ahead of Terrell Edmonds. I think it's Kayvon Wallace and Reed Blankenship, but Kayvon Wallace, the thing with him is he has to stay healthy and he has to continue to play at a high level. And the thing I put here is Kayvon Wallace at last opportunity because he's in that weird Miles Sanders predicament, right? And what I mean by that is Miles Sanders had a good season up until like the end of the season. He had over 1,000 yards. He was phenomenal. And what ended up happening with Miles Sanders is like, well, do we pay him or do we just go get an another running back? Or do we stay with Kenneth Gainwell? And Eagles were in that predicament, like, well, we don't want to pay a running back all that money. And the Carolina Panthers did. Salute to the Carolina Panthers. But it was just one of those situations. Like, he had a good season, but do we pay him? Do we let him walk? And I think Kayvon Wallace is in that situation. It's like, dang, if he have a good season and look like he can be the future, do we pay him? Because you do have Sidney Brown, who look like he has a future, and you have Reed Blankenship, who look like he definitely has a future. So do we let Kayvon Wallace walk no matter what? Like if he suck, he's going anyway. If he's really good and he could get a payday, is he going anyway too? Or do the Eagles try to stick with him, sign him to another, well, two in an extension for him to stay? Or do they just let him walk? He's in that weird opportunity. So to me, Kayvon Wallace is just simply playing for a contract. Even if it's not with the Philadelphia Eagles, he's just playing for a contract and see if he could get paid. Show that he got some. So that's how he got to look at it. And of course, I want him to play at a high level for the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, he's just in that weird situation. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel, man, about these guys, the Nicholas Murrows of the world, the Kayvon Wallace, Mario Goodrich? But this is Eagle Al.